Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? My hair is just going crazy. Who's here and how are you doing? We'll put on a little music. Oh my gosh, I updated my Stream Deck over break and it changed all the icons to go away. So while I'm here right now, we're gonna see if we get those icons fixed up. Let's get a notepad going. If someone jumps in, we can start on some chapter 7. You name it, we can do it. We can get some work done. We could talk about coding night. Blake, good to see you. Blake, you should see this. My Stream Deck is missing like all of its icons. It's absolutely crazy. I have no idea why when they update the Stream Deck. Check this out. All my icons that usually show what I'm doing right now, like I've changed one of them. They usually say like on and off if I'm on certain things. They're all broken. And so I need to I know the order of them and I'm just like, why'd you do this, Stream Deck? Why'd you break my stuff? It's crazy. I'm just like, so now I'm having to find, there we go, there's space. Okay, wait, that's not space, that's intro. It's Rick and Morty. Like, I have to remember the name of the pictures I put on here. Rick, there's Rick. Morty. No. Well, what are you working on, Blake? We could get working on some stuff right here. This is just background stuff. Labeling all the buttons on, off, all these things. Lamenting over my exam. How'd it go? How'd it go? We can talk about the exam. I'm gonna be doing some stuff during class today. So like re-download pictures. Whatever question. Hey, Chase, good to see you here. I'm changing icons on the Stream Deck as we speak. I don't like that icon. That's all right, Blake. It's a tough exam. 83 is not that bad. Look over the questions. If you see any that you feel exam went well, good to hear, Chase. Yeah, don't worry. It's yeah, like some people would love to get an 83. Like it's a tougher exam, and like I had a student, no joke, story time with Brian right here. I had a student who on the first exam made a D. I think I told the story in class, and she was a salutatorian, and she was like, I've never made a D. I can't believe it. I just don't know. And I was like, we looked, and she was like second guessing all her questions. Like everything she got wrong was a second guess. It was like she got this one wrong, and that was a second guess. Like she had the right answer, and then she like changed it. You can see where else she like it was on written exam, so you can see where she like marked out an answer and redid an answer. So it's so easy to second guess yourself. It's so easy to change a right answer to a wrong answer. And you probably 83, Blake, I hate to say it, might have been your low score. Like if you were to take the exam again, like another version, you might make like a 94, 95. Because think about this, no joke. It literally is statistics. Let's go to the main screen and talk about this real quick. When you take an exam for a class, it's a snapshot of how you're doing. And you have some sort of knowledge. It will get better. Thank you, Shreya, right there. We gotta throw some points. Just like Brian's gonna fix his icons eventually. I updated my Stream Deck, Shreya, and it broke all my icons. They're not supposed to say on. They're all supposed to say what I'm on currently, and then they're all supposed to say like off if they're not there. So a good thing I've memorized what the icons are. So like see the thing that shouldn't say on. I know I have to go and redo all of them, find all the pictures. So I should have never updated my Stream Deck. I don't even know if it did anything special. So, but I've got it memorized. But if someone were to use my Stream Deck who's not me, they'd be very confused. They'd be like, what does what do? Why are your buttons not labeled? Why are there not pictures? All that time. So when you take an exam, your exam scores are basically from a normal curve. And what is the truth? Well, we don't know that. We don't know what your true exam score is. But whatever your true exam score is, like let's just say your true exam score is a 92. you might have a variation of 4 points. So you could get down to an 88 sometimes, down to an 84 sometimes, down to an 80. Anything is possible on the curve, and it might not be perfectly normally distributed. There are other curves that are not the normal. I think the exam average was an 81, and we were the highest class. Not that I do care, but we were the highest class, or 82. We had an 81, 82 average. So Blake, you were above average. You were above average. Don't worry, that's close to it. You were above average. That's awesome. In the highest class. You were above average in the highest class. That's what we like to hear. It was also very left skew. So exam scores were not normally distributed. But when you take the exam, your exam score is just going to be one of these random exam scores. Highest. Oh, thank you. Well, we gotta keep it up, because last time I gloated about highest class, we were the lowest class on exam too, and we were by a good margin. So I was like, I came in, I played We Are the Champions in a classroom, like not this, because you play it on YouTube, I'll get flagged. But I came in, I had it queued up, and everyone's like, how'd we do? And I was like, we are the champions. And everyone's like, woo! And then we were the lowest on exam too. Yeah, so we can't stop. We won't stop learning statistics. Maybe we'll talk some stats here in a moment. But Blake, you might have landed down here currently, but your truth might have been over here. You know, you don't know like what your truth is. You can only estimate your truth. So you might say, well, the estimate truth is an 83, but even if we use later concepts, Shreya, for 1,000 points, what could, no, it's only a sample size of 1, but what can you make to estimate the truth? Or does anyone know what you can make if you want some confidence of what the truth might be, and to create an interval to estimate what the true mean might be of your like exam score, like what your true exam score would be if you weren't confident and wanted to create an interval, what you could create to estimate the truth. What could you create? Now, is this? That is that. Okay, good. I literally have memorized my buttons, because I don't have Coding Night open. Coding Night. So many graphics. Oh. You can make what is called a confidence interval. So if you were to go right here and have a, like, imagine, like, you ever take like practice tests, like multiple practice tests? So if you take multiple practice tests, you could have practice test 1, practice test 2. So let's say here are your tests, and you take a test and get a 89, you get an 87, you get an 85, and you get an 87. So those are your practice tests. Now think about this. If these are your grades right here, what would be your guess of how you do on the exam? And I can put them in order, but just think through this theoretically right here. This is what actually really matters in this class. What would be your guess of if you were to take the exam today and these were your practice test scores, what would be your guess of what you're going to make on the exam? Now, if this is a time series, you're going up, so someone might take that into account. But let's just look at this model right here and say, with these exam scores, what do I guess I would make? And Mubot isn't even awake. What would I guess? Oh, and I don't think the points sent when I did the points. Oh, no. Should never updated the Stream Deck. 87. Great guess. Let's drop those points in the chat. We're going to do all the points manually, it looks like. Mubot, or this isn't sending. Let me click the points button again. Those are the points I gave out. Well, I have to do all the points manually today. Okay. So with this right here, 87. And why 87? Because that's the mean. Does that make sense? Now, what else would you want to know about this distribution? Good to see you here, staying calm. What else would you want to know about this distribution? What else would you want to know about it? I would want to know its mean, and then want to know the variation in it. Hey, what else would we want to know right here? The mean and the what? The mean and the what else? Like another good summary statistic to know about this. To summarize it, to talk about. We call it summary statistics a lot of times. I know Mubot wasn't awake. He was sleepy. Mubot was asleep. What else would we know about the mean and the what? The mean and the what? Got the hiccups. The mean and the what? Standard deviation. That's why I like coding. It's just like just change it to SD and standard deviation. So, yep, standard deviation. Great job staying calm right there. We got to throw some more points. I got to be copy pasting these points today. So keep asking those questions, keep answering them. If you want to work on something, let me know. We're just talking about the test kind of right now. And then we're going to start class today talking about the test. And then we're going to do some regression. Woo, regression. So what we can actually do right here is we can actually do what's called a t-test. We can do a t-test on the test. And guess what you get? This is a confidence interval to estimate your true mean score on the test. I won't go into the real specifics on how to test the standard deviation. I mean, how not test standard deviation, but how to create the interval right now. It's y bar plus or minus t star with n minus 1 degrees of freedom times s over n squared n. There we go. Squared n there in there. I can write it out. When it comes to later in the class, some of the most important stuff will be knowing the notation. Do you know any of the notation I've written on the screen right now? Do you know any of this notation? Some of the most important stuff for test 3, this is test 3 relevant, will be knowing notation. Do you know what any of this means on the screen right now? Any of these values? Like S, N, T, Y bar. Do you know what any of these mean? Like, if you say, oh, N is this, or oh, S is this. We actually talked about 2 of these values just a moment ago. 2 of these values were already mentioned over here that are used to create the t-test interval. Mean is Y bar. So, and technically, Y is observation. Y bar is mean of the observations Y. So putting the little bar over top of it is very important because that means mean of variable Y. And then over here is S, which is standard deviation. And then over here, technically lowercase s. And I probably didn't make it look like that. It's a little tiny little s right there. Little s. Good answers there. Staying calm. Yep. So small s is standard deviation. Like little n is sample size. Usually small letters denote sample sizes, like small sample sizes. That's the way I try to remember it in Greek populations. So there are alternatives to these symbols. The alternative, the population alternative is sigma, which stands for population standard deviation, and mu, which stands for population mean. So S is an estimate of sigma, which is the true standard deviation for all observations, and mu is the truth for the mean, which means if we had all the data, we would know the mean for all data. N is the sample size, and capital N, not for normal this time, capital N is population size. So these things like the sample size is a subset of the population, the sample standard deviation is an estimate of the true standard deviation, and the sample mean is an estimate of the true mean, which is actually what this interval is trying to guess is the true mean. T is its own kind of thing. These are all sample statistics. T is what we call a test statistic. Word even looks different. Why does word look different? I don't have all my highlighters. They changed this a while ago in Word, so you can't like make. You used to be able to choose all your different color pens. Like you could do like 5 pens and 2 highlighters, and now they're like, oh, you only get 3 highlighters, 3 pens. It's like, dude, just let me pick how many pens and highlighters I want. Be like, add highlighter, add pen. I don't understand. Why Microsoft? And they changed that like 2 years ago or 3 years. It's a while ago now. It's like when I first started teaching, I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then they changed it like a year later. So yeah, 2020 or so. Pandemic took it away from us. So the T is kind of like a z-score. So I don't want to go too much into T right now, but T statistics are used to standardize results. And this is a T interval. But we could also do the t-test that was done for us. The t-test is t with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. This time it does not have a star because we don't get to pick it. Is equal to y bar minus mu naught, the hypothesized true mean, over s over square root of n. And what's interesting, if you take a look at this right here, it actually has a lot of the similar components. It's got this component right here. It's got this, and it's telling you a difference. And what does this t-test look a lot like? It's something minus something standardized. The t-test looks a lot like a what, which is super cool to know for later in the class. The t-test looks a lot like our formula for a what. And I'll give you a hint by erasing and doing this. What does the t-test formula now look a lot like? The t-test formula now looks a lot like finding a what, which is a good thing to know. Looks a lot like the z-score. Yep. Exactly. Great job staying calm right there. So it literally is, whenever you're doing a test statistic, like the z-score is equal to observation minus mean over standard deviation. And that's going to put into context the distance an observation is away from the mean. Now, if we were to do a two-sample t, watch this. The two-sample t is going to be known as t with t with degrees of freedom, because this one's a complicated degrees of freedom that we don't find by hand. Don't worry about degrees of freedom. It's just a t. Oh, okay, we'll put the df below it. T with degrees of freedom equals to y bar 1 minus y bar 2 over, and then we do standard error, I'm not going to write the full thing, of y bar 1 minus y bar 2. If you look at this, and you see here you have the first thing minus the second thing, and then you take that difference and you standardize it by some value, you can see the similarities in all these tests right here. This value down here is known as the standard error of the mean, so we could rewrite it as the standard error of the mean. It's found by the formula I just wrote, but that standard error of the mean is how we standardize. And so now what you're seeing right here is that a test is just a difference standardized. The top part of a test right there, like a one sample t-test, is observation minus sample mean, because that's y bar, sample mean minus hypothesized true mean over standard error of the mean. The z-score is observation minus mean over true standard deviation, true mean, that is too. And then the t-test, the two-sample t-test, and this is called a two-sample because there's two means where we're finding the difference between them and testing to see what that difference is. The two-sample t-test is sample mean 1 minus sample mean 2, which will get you the difference of those sample means, and then you standardize that by the standard error of the difference between the two sample means. How's this look? Staying calm? Are you staying calm? How does this look? Does this make sense? This is kind of a preview of what is to come with test statistics and finding like T's and Z's and stuff like that. This is more test 3 material. We could do some test 2. Whatever anyone's wondering, let me know. We could talk about we're gonna write a quiz today. Yeah, makes sense. Nice. Well, if you understand this is way later. Let's go to Google Forms. Coding night. Let's see. Let's go to Forms. Here we go. Okay, so let's make a new form to send to students. Hey, Evan, good to see you here. If you have any questions, let us know. One of the things I want to do today to start class, about time. What time? Let's say here, test 1 questionnaire. Optional. This is 100% optional. You do not have to fill this out. Okay. About time I got nice. So let's write a questionnaire right now, which we'll start class with. We'll add a few questions at the start of class too, but if you're here during office hours, you get to help making this. So we want to understand why people did well on test 1. So probably the first thing we should ask is, what was your score on exam 1? Okay. So let's go here to numeric entry. And there we go. Response validation must be a number. There we go. Between and there we go. Question, if you want to go over a certain exam question, would there be something you need me? Which one are you wondering about? Let me know. Evan right there, and good to see you here. Brock, whatever you're wondering about. Yeah, Evan, you might be able to drop it here. I can probably go over it. Just put the question you're wondering about, and we could do it. We're going to write a questionnaire right here. What else should we ask? Like, how often do you attend class? Bet. What else should we ask people? I'm trying to think of the top questions. Like, what would be associated with exam 1? Do you go to office hours? Do you use office hours? And attend live often. Attend live sometimes. Watch later often. Watch later sometimes. And do not use. Choose your best group. Did you attend the Kahoot? Yes, watched live. No, watched recording. No, did not use. Did you use SI review? Did you do you use SI? Go weekly. Go weekly and attended review. Attended review. No. Do not use. Okay. Maybe did you no, don't ask Phil if they cheated. We don't. Did you study Canvas? Did you go to Gordon's? Yeah, go to Gordon's. Yeah, that's right here. Do you use SI? Do you rewatch lectures? What's that? What is your lecture habit? Attend live. Problem is that we have bias right here because did you have a calculator? Oh, good question right there. Let's see. Did you? What is your lecture? Attend live, and chat. Attend live and well, let's just do attend live. It's too many. Like attend live, watch recordings, or attend live and watch. Recordings. Often miss class. Okay. So problem is there. Yeah, you should. I would think you should rewatch on 2 times speed. I think it's a great idea. Do you have a study group? Okay, and then watch this. This is gonna be awesome right here. Which communication group do you use most? Discord, Group Me, and they'll say neither. Might show that doesn't matter. Who knows? Did you do the review? Oh, and did you do the practice? Did you complete the practice exam? Yes, took practice exam like a real test. Yes, looked over most questions. Yes, just skimmed. And then no. Because, like, how much do they utilize it? I took with a study group. I was about to get overshare back. It could. You never know. We'll see what the data says. Like, we'll see how many people utilize it. Like, if you looked over something, like, I think the best thing to do with practice exams is, like, actually take them, like, print it off and actually take it. So I think that's the best thing to do. Like, print it off and actually take it. And then what else? Did you with the practice exam? And then I thought I had one more that was like super relevant. Did you have a calculator? Did you practice reading the graphs? Just questions when confused on the test. Oh, when confused in class. I like that one. Do you ask questions when stuck in class? We got a lot of questions right now. Let me put required on all these. Do you have time management issues? So it's hard. I like those staying calm. It's hard because like, what is the operational definition of time management issues? Sometimes like the problem is always like how to phrase a question. Did you read the textbook? Is a big one. Do you read the textbook? We could check that out. Do you read the textbook? Do you read the textbook? Do you read the textbook? I'm not a fan of reading the textbook. We'll see. Could be wrong. I have test anxiety, so I get stuck reading. Oh, wait, and then let's do one here at the end. If you made above a 90, what advice do you have for people to do well on the exam? Brian will probably read this out loud. Okay. So that's going to be very important right there. And that won't be required. So, do you participate in chat? Yeah, let's put that on here. I like that. Do you participate in chat? Often, sometimes, rarely, never. Then last but not least, are you in Brian's online class? It should be a contingent question. Yes. No. There we go. Oof, we got a lot of questions right now. How do you mistype A instead of B? Wait, my face is study like you might. No. No. How about the vault? Oh my gosh. You talking about this upcoming weekend? We're going to become number 1 in the nation. The Vols going to become number 1 in the nation. We got to do it. We got to do it. Vols doing better than my fantasy team. Vols doing amazing. People actually excited about football. Till we beat Bama, is it? Baton Rouge is a great time. Are you going to? Oh no, I'm too busy. It'll be crazy. Is it home or is it away? It's Bama, right? Brian, come to the game. Thanks, Tucker. I appreciate that. It's Bama. Is it home or away? It's home. Oh my gosh, dude! If we beat Bama, I mean, we will be number 1, right? Because we're ranked number 6 right now. We're number 6. You can stay with us, Brian. There you go. Let's chill music right here while we just chill here. Probably won't be number 1. Bring a golf ball or 2. Oh no, I don't. Bama is number. No, but like you got 2 undefeated teams going against each other. You got an overrated Bama that should be like number 7. You got an underrated UT which should be number 2 at least. I mean 2 at least. Probably move up to 5 and Bama to 6. When we beat Bama, I bet we'll be number 3. How many undefeated teams will be in the nation then? How many undefeated teams that have beat a top 5 team will be in the nation? Georgia, whatever. I say we move up to 3. I say whoever does the ratings doesn't know analytics when we beat Bama. It would matter the spread too, right? I'm calling it right now. We're beating Bama. Beating Bama by 10. Oh, wow. That's cool, Evan. Clemson, Tennessee are the only ones who played ranked teams back to back. Georgia, Bama, and Ohio all played nobodies. Oh. I'm calling it beating Bama by 10. Bama beating Bama by 10. Tennessee beating Bama by 10. You can quote this video right here and be like, man, he knows some analytics. Then watch me miss it. Watch me Vols by 90. See, I can't say that. One time I had a girlfriend. When we were at a UT game, I said I don't know much about football. She said, okay, well they're gonna kick off the ball, and then they're gonna run it downfield, and if they get to the end zone, they get 7 points. And I wanted to be like, no, they get 6, and then they can go for a touchdown or 2-point conversion. Like I don't know a lot about football, but I know the basics. Got my sports on today. I know some basics. One time, Vols by 10. Hashtag Vols by 10 right there. Let's make it happen. Vols by 10. 10's good because it's a 2-possession game then. See, I tangentially know football by my brother. My brother's a big football fan. It's funny because I'm like the bigger guy. Like my brother, growing up, my brother was like 136.3 and I was like 155.63, so I was the bigger guy. But the opening play by LSU was something else. So I didn't see it. I looked at some like tweets and stuff of like Barstool Sports LSU, and I was like, this is what are they doing? They're like, we're beating ourselves, and I was like, you lost. You lost by what, like 23 or something? Oh, they messed up their kickoff. Oh, they dropped it. They fumbled the ball. So wait, opening kickoff. See, that's how little I know. I looked at the box score and like I think I checked out a few times. It was going. The guys that were winning. I was like, I expected us to win. So I was like, I watched the Florida game. I watched that one. Look it up. It hit a player. Play it on stream. Oh, if I gotta be careful. You play stuff like that on stream, you get hit with a copyright claim. You do that, so I can't play that. Let me go grab this. Let me watch this real quick in the background. Let me mute stream and watch that. It's a fun morning right here. Oh man, they released this stuff on Dead Space. It's like the random things I watch on my YouTube here, and now I get Dead Space things for the game. Is so good. I love the original Dead Space. Okay, UT versus LSU opening kickoff. Okay, it should be here online. LSU fumbles the opening kickoff versus Tennessee, 42 seconds. Here we go. Brian reacts live. Here we go. Okay, dude's kicking. Tennessee's kicking off. Looking good in the gray and the orange. He's catching on the 17. Oh my God. And we got it on the 27 or so. It like hit his chest and went off him. Oh, do they show a replay of this? Oh, on the 17, in his hands, off him, bounces forward. Our guy slides in, recovers, goes out of bounds. Wow. That would be so cool. And the guy's like, oh, no. And our team's just going nuts. And LSU. Oh, my God. Oh, that just went right on his chest and then his knee. And our guy clearly... Wow, nice. Gotta watch our guy recover that again. His trajectory change? Yeah, and that was a clear... Whoa, it's like his hands had like super glue on it. Man, that was nice. When he got that ball right there, put that on Discord I'm in. Which thing, I'll put it in sports on Discord. So let me go down to our Discord and go to sports. Where's sports at? Tennessee. Can't be stopped. There we go. It's in sports now. Yeah, that's awesome. That place was half orange. That's awesome to hear too. The good job right there, John B. Part of that, making it half orange. They cut to some LSU fans on the, I think it was ESPN or whatever it was I was watching right there. They cut to LSU fans and they're just like, what the heck? They're like, did we really just fumble on the first? What about I sent you a message via a message on Discord? Let me go look. Let's see it right there. Yeah, I see it right here. The question is above. Okay, wait. I don't see the question. I don't see any. Oh, this one right here. Is it the what percent of people dislike of the extreme dark chocolate? Is it the of the extreme dark chocolate, what percent dislike it? Is that the one? I see it right here. Uh-huh. And yep. Okay, yeah. You can react live to every game. I don't know if I gave the best reaction. I'll just be a react channel from now on because it's like of the tasters. And yeah, do you have a, let me see right here. I can rewrite the question. I know the question. And so, well, I don't think it says of the taster. I think it says of the extreme dark chocolate, right? So I could go pull the actual question right here, but I think it says of the extreme dark chocolate. What percent of tasters choose dislike of the extreme dark chocolate flavor? So if we think about this, what percent of UT fans, what percent of football fans were happy of the, and we could put happy in quotes right here. We're happy of the Tennessee Volunteer fans. Okay. So if you look at this right here, how would this, like, what do you think you're looking for? So if this says right here, what percent of football fans were happy of the Tennessee Volunteer fans? And we had a grid of people. Alabama hate week. What's up, Wes? We were just talking about some football right here. Are you ready for some football? Random Wes appears with 38,000 points right there. Good to see you here, Wes. So if you have right here, and we put, there we go. And here's happy, sad, UT, LSU, and, well, oh, it should be 30. That should be 100. So what would this be? Red card? No, I just was throwing some random points. We hadn't thrown them out in a while right there. I was like, good idea to throw out some points. Good idea to throw out some points. Everyone's still here getting all those points. Red card. What percent of football fans were happy of the Tennessee Volunteer fans? So, what's the answer to this question? How would you find this? What percent? So let's look at the similar question right here. So, similar question. What percent of tasters choose dark chocolate or dislike of the extreme dark chocolate? So what should we do right here? It's just like the previous question we just did. So what should we do here? What percent of tasters choose dislike of the extreme dark chocolate? Just like what percent of football fans were happy of the Tennessee Volunteer fans? Well, wait a minute. Remember this one. Remember this one. Of the Tennessee Volunteers means what? Okay, good. But of the Tennessee Volunteers means it's a what distribution? Of the Tennessee Volunteers means it's a what distribution? No, Evan, you're fine. This is like, I've had like 20 students out. Like this is like the most asked about question. I've had a conditional, exactly. Don't worry, I've had people being like, no, it can't be that. I'm like, it is. It's conditional. Because we're talking of the Tennessee Volunteers. So when you go up here and you say of the extreme dark chocolate, we want to go over here. And we go to dislike. And there it is. So it's that right there. What percentage taste testers choose dislike of the extreme dark chocolate flavor? So we're only looking at the extreme dark chocolate. To create a scatter plot, you need the following variable combination. X is correct. So wait. Yeah, and so what should that be, Blake? There weren't. I'm so confused. So I think Evan's answering right there. So to create a scatter plot, you need the following variable combination. I answered X is categorical and Y is quantitative, but it counted as wrong. So what should it be? To create a scatter plot, you need what? To create a scatter plot, you need what? Yes, there we go. Blake's saying it right there. Scatter plot is bivariate quantitative. Does that make sense? See, good practice right there. Good practice. Scatter plot is bivariate quantitative. Q straight enough. No outliers. Those are the conditions for correlation. Does that make sense? Ask more questions. We could do some homework, some quizzes, but tell me this. Did you see things on the test that definitely we covered? Which I'm going to say that in class too. Did you see anything in class which I definitely... Here were the following choices. X is categorical, Y is categorical, X is categorical, Y is going to... Yeah, it should be Y is a quantitative, X is a quantitative. So it should be that one right there. Y is quantitative and X is quantitative. Does that make sense? So, because we can go right here. We should be able to check it also inside of R. Watch this. Tell me if it doesn't make sense here. Data survey. I wonder what happens if I go to attach. Is gender in here? There we go. There's a mosaic plot. Oh, no worries. What do you think handedness and gender are what variables? Handedness and gender are what variables? Handedness and gender are what variables? Do you see how that's a mosaic plot? Handedness and gender are both categorical. So we have GPA in here, and there's that. And so you can see via the combinations of... So you can see the different graphics. 2 categorical variables gets you a mosaic plot. A categorical X and quantitative Y gets you side-by-side box plots. And quantitative gets you scatter plots. So this plot function inside of R right here... sure, everyone check it out. I'm just... Nice job, Wes. I like hearing that. But notice how this plot function right here does the plot I want based on the variables I input. So the variables you input are going to determine the plots you get. So this right here, and I was making some really big mosaic plots this weekend. All I do is 500. Yeah, 500,000 is the max bonus. People will get there. Keep working at it. Keep trying to get those points. And we got another question via Discord. You have the following 4 variables. Okay, so let me copy this. You have the following 4 variables. I need all the coffee. Okay. What if 1M is reached? You get new game plus bonus. Okay, you have the following 4 variables on UTK students. Gender is going to have to go into either, we'll probably be putting in rows or columns. So we have gender, and we have year, and height, another variable, and commuter. Which quadrant would you put the variable height in order to find the average height of students? There you go. So it's extra, and it's all it's asking about is if you want to find the average height. So the columns and rows split things apart, filters. But the most important thing is, I thought that was values. So rows and columns split things apart, but the value has a what? The value has a value field setting. So the thing you're displaying, like the thing you're actually displaying, goes into values. I put filters things. Filter is optional. So the filters stuff. So if you want to display the average height of students, no worries. If you want to filter things, the best way to understand the pivot charts chapter is to just make them. And then you're like, oh, if I want to display the average height, I have to put it into values because the values is what I see. So I want to see the average height. So it would go into values. Does that make sense? No worries. There's trickier questions. It's the number one thing with pivot charts is just making them. Like, it's like the way we can ask questions is like, do you just know how to make it? So the more you practice making them to be like, oh, if I want to show the average height, that would be something that would be changed. Like, what are the options for the value field setting? So one key thing right here that I would hope would jump out when someone takes this question is average. What else could you change the value field setting to? What else can you change the value field setting to? What else can the value field setting could also be changed to what else? Well, not gender. Gender is a variable. You could put the variable gender in there, but the value field setting has different settings. It has like average. Like I could pull up some right here. The value field setting has what? Oh my gosh, this screen needs to be redone. Well, no, like the value field setting. Let me pull up Excel. The value field setting. Getting Excel going right now. Taking a while. And there it is. Okay. Okay. So we go select all data, insert pivot table, and here we are. So, is it this? It is, good. Oh, I've got this thing memorized. If you go here to height and you put it right here, notice how we have sum of height. Oh gosh, that's horrible to hear. That's oof, I don't like that. We have the sum of heights. Then we click here and we go to the value field setting. So the value field setting can be changed to things like sum, count, average, max, all these different things right here. And changing this to average will take the value right there and show us the average of it instead of showing the count of observations. So you go to the value field setting, and that's the value that's being displayed, and you could change it to something like the sum of everybody's height. So the key right here that really jumped out to me in looking at this question is it said it wanted the average height of students. So that's a value being displayed for us. So we'd have to change the value being displayed. Yeah, so it's not breaking it apart. Filter removes things like if it said like we want to not have people who are over 70 inches tall, that'd be a filter. Columns and rows, since it's quantitative, you'd have to say like display how many men are a certain height and how many women are a certain height. So then you would use it in rows or columns. Like you probably wouldn't do that. You would still actually need like gender or something in values, and you do the count of it. So average was the keyword. Yeah, average is the keyword to me that really jumps out to be like that's a value being displayed. So I know right there, and you're not splitting it apart by height. It's just saying we want to look at the average height of students. So to look at the average height of students, you would just go over here and we're doing height right there. Just change the value field setting. The final's not really cumulative. There's what's called tools and techniques questions. So the tools and techniques questions see if you know like what to use and when, like to use certain things at certain times. It's not really cumulative, but we ask like review-ish questions, review-y type questions. Review stat 201. But not like super reviewy. Like it's like, put it this way, it could ask like, here's a question that could be on the final. You have been collecting data for your marketing class on the expenditures of a business and its income. If you wanted to graph these two variables together on one plot, which plot would you choose? Histogram, bar chart, pie chart, scatter plot, mosaic plot. This, yep, that's it. Because what jumped out to you immediately, Evan? So these are the types of questions that would be on the final right here. Like this is what we mean by like knowledge and stuff. Two quantitative variables, exactly. So, and also bar charts and pie charts are the same type of graphic. So if you know bar charts and pie charts display the same data, you could eliminate that and say, well, if we're asked to choose one right here, then income is quantitative exactly, and expenditures is quantitative. It might say like in dollars or something like that. We might add extra things like in dollars, and its income in dollars. That way it helps people know like it's quantitative. Things like that are usually added to like make sure there's no like question like is expenditures like they were high, they were low, because if it's categorical then it would be side by side box plots, which is not an option here. But it's like, well, and you're like, what if it's high, low for all of them? Like, let's change the question right here. You have collected data on if a pet gets adopted and if it's a cat or dog, which would you use to display the bivariate relationship? So there's another type of question right here, and it really boils down to knowing what to use and when. So for this one, now we need a bivariate display. So we need a bivariate display. So, well, histograms are for what kind of data? Nice stuff, Evan, right there. Let's trade those 1,000 points, Evan. You've earned it with all these awesome answers right here. Histograms are only for what kind of data? Histograms are only for what kind of data? A histogram, and we can show it over here by typing in hist and typing in some numbers, or we could just take the weight vector, which is a quantitative vector of weight. But if I go to hist of gender, see it's up. See what it says right there? It must be numbers. So it must be numbers right there. It says you can't do it. So it's really neat. Or if I try like a bar chart of weight, it actually might give it. That's not what we want, though. We wouldn't want that. What we actually want, I think I have to do a table of it. You have to do that. So that's what you actually want. If you notice, sometimes you'll get something, but it won't be what you want. This is not this. No, I don't understand that graphic. This is a actual bar chart right here of weights of individuals right there. Wrong answers, 1,000 points. We love it. So you just want to make sure that you understand like male and female would be in a bar chart right here. And we're taking the table of it. I think it has to take table. I always hate that. I wish it just, no, it ran it. Oh, cool. Maybe they updated that it's smart enough. Maybe let's see if it's doing it. Yeah, it might be a new thing in debate. It looks better than it used to, I think, even. Huh. That's a quote and a half right there. Wrong. Let's throw it in. Should be used every time. Oh, we got Blake and Evan combo right here. Awesome. Let me get that in Mubot's brain. Quotes right there. Quote 309. Quote 309 right there. Quote 309. Let's go. Awesome. I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh my gosh. I might grab some more coffee right here in a moment. Might end off. But good work, everyone. Does that make sense what the tools and techniques are? Oh, I need some coffee. We're going to send out that announcement. We're going to tell people. Big class today. New topics. Now let's get the announcement going. You ready? Big class today. New topics. Got all these homecoming announcements and everything. Big class today. New topics. Hey, announcements.